Trump also joined from the White House, again referring to the governor in front of him. He called the Canadian Prime Minister the Governor of Canada. G7 President Trudeau was there. He thanked him, but ultimately, at the point he reached, he continued to say the same things. As Professor Poyraz said, he seemed to be keeping a bit of a distance from Macron, but Trump eventually held hands with him. They painted an extremely warm picture. So what's really going on? In summary, Macron says, of course we can provide guarantees here, but not without America. Trump also says, I will get the money I gave, otherwise, no matter what, I am not here. Now let's watch.
French President Emmanuel Macron became the first European leader to be hosted by U.S. President Donald Trump at the White House. The meeting, which took place exactly on the third anniversary of the war in Ukraine, once again brought to light the deepening rift in transatlantic relations.
I can't understand what I'm saying, but this...
When Trump and Macron appeared in front of the cameras in the Oval Office, they were smiling. However, when it came to the aid provided to Ukraine, the atmosphere quickly changed. The U.S. president claimed that Europe was giving Kyiv loans, not grants, and Macron gently interjected by touching Trump lightly, and he immediately corrected him.
Europe is lending to Ukraine. They are getting their money back.
No, to be honest, we paid 60% of the total aid. These were debts, guarantees, and grants. We provided real money.
It's not like that. We need to talk about this.
Trump was optimistic about achieving peace in Ukraine soon. He said if we act wisely, the war will end in a few weeks. He also stated that he would visit Moscow in such a situation. If the visit takes place, Trump will be the first American president to visit Russia in over a decade. Break time. Trump, who described the president of Ukraine as a dictator, was once again asked if he thought the same about his Russian counterpart, Vladimir Putin. However, the U.S. president was cautious.
I don't use such words easily.
Let's see what happens.
French President Macron emphasized the need for long-term security guarantees for Ukraine. We want peace quickly, but we don't want a weak agreement, he said. He pointed out that an agreement against Ukraine would also signal weakness to adversaries like China and Iran. Peace does not mean Ukraine's surrender, he stated. In this context, the agenda of the two leaders included the formula of deploying Western troops to Ukraine in case a ceasefire is achieved. Trump claimed that Putin would accept this.
To help Ukraine, no one helps.
European forces may go to Ukraine as a peacekeeping force. Once an agreement is reached, they can monitor whether everything is being implemented properly. Putin will accept this. I asked him this question before.
He didn't. This is a very sad thing. This would never happen.
Last week, Europe was in great shock due to Trump's harsh statements towards Ukraine, and now it is awaiting the visit of UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer to Washington on Thursday. Later, European Union leaders will meet at an extraordinary summit in Brussels on the 6th of March.
Now, these precious metal moments, Macron holding his arm like this, actually saying, no, we paid more money, actually. You know, this wasn't even a debt. He tries to round it off by saying things like it was a grant or something. The point that is not conveyed here is this. Macron said yes to security guarantees. We must provide security guarantees, but no matter what, the presence of the U.S. is extremely important. Without the presence of the U.S., this is truly binding and deterrent. It won't be a line. So if we are talking about a peacekeeping force here, if the European peace force is to be established without the U.S., you shouldn't just dismiss it by saying the U.S. won't send troops, he said. Now, on one hand, these security guarantees, and on the other hand, I won't give any security guarantees, and the American military won't go there. The verbal exchange between Donald Trump, who says I paid money and I will get my money back, and Zelensky. Let's call it a verbal spat because he rejected this agreement, which was said to be no different from a colonial agreement. We are talking about a valuable $500 billion agreement, which we had emphasized. Globally, worldwide, 117 of the 122 extremely important valuable mineral elements are found in Ukraine. When we talk about these valuable minerals and hydrocarbon riches, natural gas, we are talking about a total of $26 trillion. Now there is Trump who says, "I want my own money from this source." Zelensky also said to him, "You want your own money." First, not all of that money was debt or anything. I agreed with Biden they were grants. Secondly, what kind of agreement is this where you don't put anything in return? Moreover, the logic is also flawed. If you want an economic interest somewhere, you need to put something in place for its security. The American military needs to come, whatever it is, you need to provide a security guarantee. This matter got stuck like this. One called the other a dictator, the other said, "I won't sell my country," and this one said, "I'm not for sale." Zelensky said something like, "I will not sign a colonial agreement that will be paid off over 10 generations. And it continued like this. During yesterday's meeting, Trump claimed that they were very close to signing this agreement and emphasized that he had invited Zelensky or would invite him. A quick response came from Putin. Even before Zelensky said yes, he said, "Let it come. Let's share and resolve this mining issue together with the United States of America."
I will meet with Zelensky actually this week or last week. The expression,
Is the U.S. close to signing the precious metals agreement with Ukraine? The announcement was made by U.S. President Donald Trump, who met with French President Emmanuel Macron. Trump, who stated that he would meet with Ukrainian leader Zelensky within 2 weeks, said that work was being done on the agreement.
he might come to celebrate. We should express it with Ukraine. Critical minerals and proximities and different things. Expression. And I think this is happening. I think we've come a long way. Before I come to proximity, to me, to Emmanuel, we've gone too far.
French President Emmanuel Macron also said he welcomed the development. Highlighting the Trump-Zelensky meeting, Macron emphasized that the agreement provided economic benefits for both sides. Ukrainian Deputy Prime Minister Olga Stefanishina said, "The negotiations are progressing very constructively. We have finalized almost all the important details." Russia is closely monitoring the developments. Russian leader Vladimir Putin wants to sway Trump's mind regarding the potential agreement between the U.S. and Ukraine. Speaking on Russian state television, Putin announced that they are ready to cooperate with the U.S. on rare elements.
The valuable mineral agreement between the U.S. and Ukraine does not concern us. I must say that we are ready to work with our American partners. When I say partners, I mean not only the government, but also the companies.
Ukrainian President Zelensky had rejected the first deal offer from the U.S. He had reacted strongly to Trump's demand for a $500 billion debt payment. Zelensky is seeking security guarantees for a possible agreement. The revised agreement from Washington may include provisions in this direction. However, it is known that the U.S. president does not want to deploy American troops in Ukraine.
A major issue. You take a look at the economy.